And welcome back to the Quick Focus Blueprint program. And I'm excited about today's lesson. And so, before I get started, how's your focus? How do you feel? Are we building some momentum together? And are you commenting? Are you being interactive? And are you communicating with the community also as well? So that way you know that you're not alone. And so, what I'm going to talk about now that we've talked about the different things that you could do, we're starting to build your concentration action program, right? Really, your focus blueprint. What keeps you from actually doing it? What keeps you from doing that? Specifically, you know the word, right? It's procrastination. Procrastination. That you could start out with big plans and ideas and have set up some of your goals to get you there, and it could start out well, and you have lots of energy and you're making progress. Then comes the day when your energy is a little bit less focused and you start to feel the pull of procrastination, or you find that you're easily distracted by anything and everything, right? If you're a procrastinator, you know the feeling of being sidetracked by a bunch of kitten videos when there's a huge project you should be working on. It doesn't feel great, not getting anything done. So, why do we let ourselves procrastinate in the first place? Well, let's start with this. We all procrastinate, right? The question is, how do we overcome the tendency to put things off? And if we can really regain and find our focus. And that's what I want to talk about in this lesson. This matters because our lives are brief and they're limited. And while we don't need to be productivity, perfection, robots, running from difficult tasks to distractions and temporarily comfort, not the best way of spending our lives, right? Remember, it's you just do the easy things in life, life becomes hard. But if you do the hard things, life becomes a lot easier. So you and I could face these fears. We can learn to deal with them mindfully, with focus. And in doing so, we can develop an ability to return with boldness, with courage and confidence to the work that matters the most to us, to create something important, something that helps our world in small or big, meaningful ways. So procrastination is not a useful habit. So let's learn how to overcome it and find focus so we could create a better life. So I'm going to give you a few quick tips to think about. Number one, my favorite tip, to procrastinate procrastination. If you want to get over procrastination, just put it off. The best way is to just delay procrastinating itself if you're so good at it. That's kind of tongue in cheek, but really sometimes you prescribe the problem, and then that becomes the solution. Number two way of putting off or overcoming procrastination that really leads to debilitating focus and lack of concentration is to start somewhere. And this is based on something called the Zeigarnik effect, where this psychologist realized in Europe that the wait staff at a restaurant would remember all the orders until they actually were delivered. And once the order was delivered, the wait staff would actually forget what the order was. But the idea here is that when you start something, your brain retains the information, or it doesn't like open loops, and it tends to stay with something until you close the loop. And so just starting somewhere, anywhere, will help you to overcome procrastination better. So if you start a task, you're more likely to complete it. Number three tip on how to have better focus by eliminating or reducing procrastination is to break it down. And this is really big because there's a lot of people don't get started with something and they don't focus on something fully because it's this amorphous, ambiguous, abstract thing. But what happens is if you break it down into little pieces, these projects aren't so huge and they become individual tasks that are very manageable and bite size, and you don't have no longer the intimidating monsters and you know where to start. So break it down into bite-sized, manageable tasks. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles began with a single step. And so I would highly encourage you, if you get stressed and don't know where to focus, just break it down into little pieces. Number four, and this is very important, is to be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. There's been a lot of research in the area of self-compassion saying that where most people beat themselves up for not doing something, for putting things off, and they think it's going to actually help them to get back on track. It doesn't work that way. the more kind to yourself you are, with a seriousness that, putting off things that are important is not necessarily a good thing. But if you're kind to yourself, you're more likely to follow through, meaning that you miss something and you put it off and you don't focus on it. It's understandable. And say to yourself, I'm only human and this happens to the best of us. And then finally, I would say number 5 is to schedule it. When we talk about something, it just becomes a fantasy or a dream. But when you schedule it and you put it into your calendar, you're far more likely to complete the task, right? And schedule it and keep it just like you do with our lessons here. You schedule it, hopefully, and you don't cancel it because this is time for you, time well spent. So schedule the thing so it becomes part of your day. And number 6, I would say, is remember to find your why. If you can't get yourself to do something that's important, one of my favorite books is Simon Sinek's Start With Why. And your purpose is what drives you and it gives you energy. And if you're struggling to complete a task, tap into the reasons that you want to do it, because reasons reap rewards. Reasons reap rewards and they reap results. So tap into the energy of it, meaning that your heart goes from your head to your heart to your hands. I talk about this success formula that you can visualize things in your head or set goals in your head. But if you're not acting with your hands, usually what's missing is your heart. Tap into the why. Tap into the reasons why you want to do these things, and that'll help you to better focus. Now, there are a number of resources also. I'll just add this in, a couple of online resources that could help you to be able to accomplish things and really focus your energies and help you to procrastinate less. First of all, there's this site. It's called Stick, STICKK, double K. And it's a really cool site that makes your goals public so that other people will know if you don't do something. You create a goal and a timeline. You set up some stakes, and those stakes could be anything, right? It could be something where if you don't do it, you're going to donate money to a cause that you don't believe in, for example, and it would really pain you to not follow through. It allows you to be able to get support and hopefully share your eventual success. And this is great for long-term goals because the community could help keep you accountable. We talked about how you are the people you spend time with, and are you spending time with people that are going to hold you to a higher standard and keep you accountable. And obviously it feels really good to have everyone congratulate you when you do something. So that's Stick with 2 Ks. There's another site called Rescue Time, and it tracks how you use your time online and on various applications on your computer so you can see how much time you're actually wasting. Just think about it. How much time you're spending on social media and different sites that's not really there to serve your highest self. And so once you see that, sometimes the awareness of it is big enough to make a difference for you. Because where are you spending your time? And a lot of people don't realize that they're spending more time than they realize being distracted or going down this rabbit hole of the internet and social media and scrolling and sharing and commenting and all these things. You could end up going on just like on Netflix to watch a show for 30 minutes, and all of a sudden 3 hours later you just, where am I? And you go down again this rabbit hole. Or even on social media, you could scroll infinitely on Facebook and infinitely on Twitter and infinitely on YouTube and Instagram and so on. And it's meant like that specifically to be able to keep your eyes on there, your attention, your valuable focus, your valuable concentration. And so what I would say here is stop wasting time and look into various resources like Stick or Rescue Time to help keep you on track. And so what I want you to do right now as your homework is take something that you're procrastinating. Take something that you've been putting off, something that you know is good for you, that you need to do. And you don't want to wait till the pain is so bad that you actually take action. And you don't want to feel so unbelievably unengaged in something that's not inspiring. So find something that you're not acting on and apply one of these tips in terms of starting somewhere, breaking it down, or being kind to yourself, or scheduling it, or really tapping into your why, or tap into one of these websites, apps to be able to help you, to support you next level. And what I want you to do also is put a comment in this lesson, and share your stories. I mean, if you want to share your stories of procrastination, and if you procrastinated about something and you finally did something about it, it doesn't have to be going on right now, but in the past, share that. If you are struggling with something right now and want extra encouragement from the rest of the community, then share that. And so share what you're putting off, and then also share one of the tips that you're going to employ. So, for example, if you decide that you're putting off doing this one proposal, and then your tip you're going to apply is find your why, then expound on that. Talk about why you need to do it and what it's going to allow you to be able to do and the joy you're going to feel, because the question I ask myself is, will the pleasure outweigh the pain? Will the long-term pleasure of achieving this outweigh the short-term pain or struggle? And often with things that are very important, the answer would be yes. And so put a comment down on this episode and this lesson, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Bye now.